Final Fantasy fits Magic the Gathering's tone. Spider-Man doesn't at all. What, do we really just want an instant speed card that's called You're Late to Class?
Spider-Man's gonna make Homelands look like a good set.
Hi, I'm Joel, and yes, I'm a Marvel fanboy and a Magic the Gathering fan, but I've gotta say the hate, the pre-hate that I'm seeing for the Spider-Man set coming out later this year is a little crazy to me. I feel like the Final Fantasy fervor has gotten us all twisted up. Joel R. Magic is brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your cards quickly and easily on the internet. TCG Player, the best place to buy them. Dragon Shield, the best way to protect them. And Moxfield, the only place to put your deck lists on the internet. I thought everybody liked Spider-Man. Didn't they spend billions making a bunch of different movies with a bunch of different actors on this franchise? So as we leave the Final Fantasy hype behind us, everyone is looking forward. We've got Edge of Eternities on the horizon, Nooch, and we've got Spider-Man coming very shortly after that. Very shortly after that, by the way, very tightly. It's like beginning of August is Edge of Eternities, end of September is Spider-Man. It seems really close, but apparently it's very close to the gap that was between Bloomborough and Duskmorn, so hopefully when we're actually in the middle of that break in between those two sets, it feels like we've got enough breathing room to enjoy Edge of Eternities and also enjoy Spider-Man. And I want to make that clear. I'm very much looking forward to Edge of Eternities, but I'm also very much looking forward to Spider-Man, and I just don't understand all of this like, oh, it's gonna suck, that set's gonna be so bad. I can't believe that Final Fantasy crushed Spider-Man this year. All of this discussion before we're even there is crazy to me. Now, I can understand why people already have a negative sentiment on this set going into it because weird things abound with this set so far. It's not going to be on Arena in its paper form. It's going to be a reskinned version on Arena. That is weird. I've covered that in a video. The fact that it's not going to have Commander precons tied to it officially, very strange. That is a weird thing. And the cards that we've seen so far were also like meh. They were fine. The art was a little the mechanics were all kind of like, okay, got it. That sounds fine, but it was like a scene box. It wasn't even from the main set. So all three of those things are combining right now, I think, alongside the fact that the Final Fantasy set has gone so well and has surprised so many people, and that's just making a bunch of people assume, the Spider-Man set's gonna suck and undersell and it's not gonna be good at all. As a franchise, Final Fantasy has grossed about $20 billion, and as a franchise, Spider-Man has grossed about $27 billion. So there's been more money spent on Spider-Man across its lifetime. I thought that was gonna be enough example just to be like, hey, look, I mean, the set's gonna bang, y'all. I don't understand what we're talking about. I had a short discussion with LS on Twitter about it, and LS made a really good point about how with Final Fantasy, there are games. Every single game is its own thing, and because there are so many different games across time, people have different touch points on Final Fantasy, and there's more attention drawn to that game overall, to that franchise overall, because any one person could have engaged with like Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy VIII and really been intimately involved with that one game and loved the franchise as a result of it without having to engage in everything that the Final Fantasy franchise has to offer. Whereas with Spider-Man, that property is wide. There are books, there are comics, there are movies, there are games, there are toys, the whole nine yards. It's just a very wide franchise. And so largely, even with all of the properties that are focused around Spider-Man, it's all focused around Spider-Man, right? Like Final Fantasy X was Tidus and Yuna. There is no Tidus and Yuna in any other games. But if you like Tidus and Yuna, you probably like Final Fantasy as an extension of that. You either like Spider-Man or you don't, I think was kind of the argument on LS's side, and that makes a lot of sense. I do think, though, that just because of the nature of the franchise Spider-Man itself, it's been so wide, games, movies, comics, there's a lot of different touch points that people may have been able to grab onto, and that will draw them to this franchise even more than just, say, like one Final Fantasy game they were so intimately involved with. I think that the fact that there's so many possible touch points for somebody to have an experience in their life that ties Spider-Man to them in a way that they want to spend money on a game that they don't even play, like Magic the Gathering, especially what we saw with Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering, that was drawing in Final Fantasy fans in droves, and I'm hoping that the same happens to the Spider-Man fans as well to make this set a success. I've seen a big criticism of the set that Spider-Man just fights street-level bad guys, some fantastical bad guys for sure, and there's some magic and some science involved in there, some tech that seems like magic. But largely it's like he does that and then he's got to juggle getting to school on time, keeping a real world job. How's that going to translate into magic cards? And I get that on a base level. That is the Spider-Man experience. It's about, you know, being able to see yourself in the character of Peter Parker. But did anybody see those Spider-Verse movies? Like, there's so much more realm to explore. And we've seen that Spider-Verse is directly referenced on the collector box packaging for this set. And so, yeah, we're going to get some street level Spider-Man, but I feel like a lot of the magic is going to sit on the fact that the multiverse is endless. There's so many different characters and variations of characters that they can tap there. You've got different versions of villains. You've got different versions of heroes that can all be tapped for cards or special abilities. You know, I can see, say, a card like Singing Bell Strike, right, in a traditional Magic the Gathering set. We don't want that to be, oh, late for first period, because that would be lame, but it could be Spider-Gwen's point attack and achieve the same thing, right? Like, I don't feel like this design excuse that I'm seeing going around has any weight to it at all, because there's a lot of depth here. Even though it is just Spider-Man, there's way more to it than just Spider-Man. You don't just have Peter Parker, you've got Miles, you've got Spider-Gwen, you've got Noir, 2099, all sorts of different variations that would lean into different parts of the color pie. You've got the ability to have Magic meet Marvel halfway. And I also think that the fact that this is the start of the entire Marvel collaboration that's not a secret layer, it doesn't make any sense to me that they would put a half-assed effort into this set. I feel like this is opening the door for Marvel. I feel like if I wrote down all of the different properties of Marvel, Spider-Man, Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy at this point, X-Men for sure, if I was to write down all the properties that I think in and of themselves would make the most money from Marvel as one-off sets, and then I also listed how long I think that those would take to develop, I can see it falling on Spider-Man. It's the one with the most movies. It feels like it's the most popular. Spider-Man was carrying Marvel before we got to the MCU, and Iron Man and Captain America became major characters. You know, it was Hulk, it was Wolverine, it was Spider-Man. Those were really the big three. So when you think about it that way, Wolverine is an X-Man, that goes in the X-Men set. Hulk is an Avenger, that goes in the Avengers set. I'm assuming we're going to have those two. And then that leaves Spider-Man the best on-ramp, the most popular probably, definitely the most represented in modern media. For the last year, I've only seen haters and discussions of how Final Fantasy is even going to work. How are they going to translate a video game, these expansive stories, all the different games into one set? How's that going to work? There's no way they're going to be able to translate that well. And now it's the best-selling set of all time. I don't think, honestly, that Spider-Man is going to do that as well. I think that a future Marvel set could have the potential. I would assume like the X-Men set or the Avengers set are going to be the ones that's like the maximum banger depending on execution that could potentially rival Final Fantasy sales numbers. I don't think Spider-Man's going to do that, especially because we have yet to figure out what's going to happen with Commander precons. Are we going to get like one precon deck as a secret layer? Are they going to be announced later? Are they just not happening? Which would be just completely strange to me that they would not provide a product for Commander players to buy. Right? Like, isn't that where they're making most of their money right now? So that would be a strange thing to me. But I still think that it has potential to outdo Lord of the Rings, for instance. I still think it's going to be a historic Magic set, though at this point, I don't think it's going to be on the level of Final Fantasy. I just don't think it's going to be this basement bottom dweller set that sucks and everybody hates. I don't see how they could let that happen for the opener of their Marvel collaboration. I've obviously still got concerns about the set, but I'm definitely not as negative on it as a lot of people I'm seeing on the internet. And I don't think that's just because I'm a Marvel fanboy and this is the set I've been looking forward to all year. Let me know down in the comments if you think I'm giving it a fair shake, but honestly, I wouldn't confuse, a potential tone mismatch with a lack of potential. I wasn't a Final Fantasy fan, and I didn't see how it could possibly be translated into Magic the Gathering, but the Final Fantasy set is now one of my favorite sets of all time. I've been playing since Invasion. I've been playing this game a long time. And what the Final Fantasy set has done for the game and for the community, I think is full net positive. And it's one of my favorite sets I've ever seen. So I just, again, cannot see how they can't make Spider-Man a banger that they can point to, especially with them hanging their hat on so much Universes Beyond and 2 more known Marvel sets yet to come out. Let me know what you think about this set down in the comments below. I called my shot way in advance. Go ahead and call your shot as well. Let me know in the comments how you think the set is going to perform. And hey, if you're watching this after the set's already come out, or I've already made a video that's like, this is what was the reality, I was so stupid, or man, I was right, let me know down in the comments if you're watching this in the future too. I'd love to talk to you about it. Other than that, hit like and subscribe if you like my coverage of Magic the Gathering and you want to stick around. I'll catch you in the next one. Later.